Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Mike Colleen at crackedfemalecode.com. There's a code to our heart. The most ethical, caring, and loving course on dating and relationship coaching. Understanding romance, love, and romantic seduction is now possible. There's a new discovery that I made over 20 years ago. There's something really powerful that women want from you, and it's going to shock you. Buy my book, Cracked Female Code, at crackedfemalecode.com to find out. Okay, so what is my course about? Let me give you a little brief history, a little bit more, added to the last video. So I studied psychology at Arizona State, and I actually took some courses, probably quite a bit, at Solano Junior College in Fairfield, California, right next to Fairfield in a city called Suisun. Then I spent 12 years going to certification courses, trainings on all different forms of psychology, healing work, communication, linguistics, from neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, Ericksonian hypnosis, timeline therapy, neuroassociative conditioning, HNLP, etc., etc. After my education, I read over 300 books on human behavior. I'm going to give you a few books today to kind of give you an idea of where did I learn what I learned, but it really wasn't that, because it's how I put the pieces together that nobody else has put together. So number one, I'm going to give you 3 books to read, and then I'm going to give you what this video is about, something that women do. If you want a solid grasp on women, I highly recommend these 3 books. These 3 books will give you an idea of where and how I began to shift my brain into understanding women. These are not the only reasons or the only books, but these would, if I had to pick 3 off the top of my head right now, these would be the 3, and then my book, Cracked Female Code, at crackedfemalecode.com. So the first book I recommend is The Female Brain by Luann Brizendine. This is a book about the hormonal shifts in women from conception until death. One of the things I learned from this book, just once, not the only one, is after women have their period, about 24 hours later, they shift over to their left brain. Now they think like you. They're using the same brain. That's why it seems like for a few days or a week, women seem to make sense. You seem to suddenly understand them and get along with them. But then all of a sudden, wait, what the hell is going on? Now they're starting to get their hormones shifting back to the right brain. Now, the left brain is the direct brain. You say A and you mean A, but the right brain, you don't do that. You say A from the left brain, but you mean a deeper meaning, B, in the right brain. It's the symbolic language. This is only one of the patterns that I teach in the course, and no, it doesn't teach this in this book at all. The point being, though, is her hormones shift her over to her right brain after a period of time. Why does it do this? Because it makes her want to make love to reproduce babies. Now, along with this, one thing I learned with some things I already knew about female body language and how to read humans, not just women, but humans, is when you go into your left brain, your pupils get smaller, your skin gets a little bit, your muscles become tighter, more tense, and your face becomes more angular. So when I'm at a club, now that I know that women shift over to the left brain, it's like, oh, she's in her left brain right now. That's why I won't approach a woman or ask her for her number when she's in this space, because she has no interest in romance or dating or reproducing at all. So she's basically going to bite your head off if you approach her in that way. But if you approach her like a dude, hey, what's up, man? What's going on? You're straightforward, direct. She'll talk to you, but she's probably not going to want to exchange numbers. And if she does, it's as friends, not as a romantic connection. So along with this, I teach you a technique on how to be internal to be able to read women even better. So I'm not going to go down that path. Let's get to the next book. So the next book is called The Human Zoo by Desmond Morris. The newer copies have a different cover, but this is the one I got back in, I think it was like 1991 or something. He also wrote The Naked Ape. I would highly recommend reading both of those books if you really want to understand women and human behavior. Again, the author is Desmond Morris. The next book is a really powerful study on human sexuality, why men and women mate and why we cheat and reproduce with other partners, etc. This will help you to understand why women intermix with other men. Again, it's called Sperm Wars by Robin and Baker. You ever heard of the 7-year itch? That's where most men and women get divorced. When women got the pill so they can choose when to get pregnant and started going to college, which both happened around the 70s, all of a sudden the divorce rate shifted from 85% of all divorces were initiated by men up until about the late 70s or so, and then it shifted radically by the mid 80s to where 85% of all divorces are initiated by women. Here's the deal, and that's generally around the 5th to 7 years. I remember my grandpa and a couple other older men would say this way back like around 80s or 90s, say, yeah, there's a 7-year itch, if you can get past that, you can make the marriage work. Here's why. Hormonally, women shift and fall out of love with you between the 5th and 7th year. That's why most relationships between the first and about 3.5, 4 years, somewhere around there, they're pretty happy, they're pretty fun, and then they start to fall apart. It's not coincidence. It's because her hormones are shifting out of phase, and it causes her to literally fall out of love. That's why a lot of women, they're like, well, why do you want a divorce? And they'll tell their friends, like, I don't know, I just don't feel the love anymore. Her hormones are shifting out of it. Unfortunately, our society requires for women and men to have a reason. Well, you can't just get divorced. And my question is, why not? You have to have a reason, which means she has to make you look like the bad guy. She's got to rip you apart. She's got to blow things out of proportion. She's got to make things up. Oh, he's a monster. He's bad. And they got to work hard to make you look bad. And then the friends and family and mother will be like, oh, okay, I understand why you want a divorce, even though you didn't do anything. Now, not all women are like that. There's a fair portion of women that say, I don't know. I just fell out of love. That is the easiest way to get divorced. Unfortunately, our society doesn't look that way, and basically men are villainized. Or another thing women will do, even in high school, if they want to break up with you after 3 or 4 years, they'll just yell and scream and argue and fight and disagree until you leave. They're pushing you out. A lot of times women, especially younger women, they don't want to initiate the breakup. They want you to do it. And so they're going to irritate you, fight and argue, and just make you miserable and do everything they can to hurt your feelings until you finally like, yeah, I'm out. And sometimes that takes years. So when a woman engages in this and it doesn't clear up within 30 days, I just leave. Humans were not meant to stay together, to be married, engaged for more than 5 to 7 years max. It's really around 4 years, and then the misery slowly starts to pick up. I believe men, it's more likely that you would be very happy in a relationship for a much longer time, whereas women, it's just that once those hormones shift, they're like, I don't want to be with you. If they were to get rid of all societal pressures and rules and unconscious things that they were taught, they would just say, I don't know, I'm just not in love. You didn't do anything wrong. Now, a lot of books that I've read talk about evolution, the caveman, the cave girl, how they interacted, what they needed to do to survive. Now, here's the thing that the modern, especially male, just can't grasp. They can't put their finger on it. We have 3 brains, left, right, and lower. The lower brain is the instinctual brain, the fight or flight brain, the survival brain. It's the brain that's in control of keeping you alive and reproducing babies. That brain overrides logic. It will take over when it comes to mating, relationships, survival, food, etc. One thing I want to make it really clear, this brain has permission to override the left and right larger human brain when it comes to reproduction and when it comes to survival, keeping you alive, period. It has that power. Now, what's my point and purpose in sharing that? There are certain patterns that got locked into our DNA because we had to use them for thousands and thousands and thousands of years to survive. You've got to understand the human race, we basically came out of survival about 60 years ago. About 1940, maybe a little bit sooner than that. So everything that we're experiencing right now is brand new. Women having the pill to have the choice to have a baby or not have a baby, getting their master's degrees, making over $100,000. Now they have freedom and choice of their body and their finances. They don't need a man to put a roof over their head anymore like they did up until around 1968, 1974. My point is, it would take thousands and thousands of years to change the patterns that are hardwired into our DNA. It's not going to change just because suddenly women can go to college and get a master's degree and can afford to pay their own mortgage and rent and car payment. it's still there. Now, what is this pattern I'm alluding to? So here's the pattern, and if you break the pattern, game over. Her brain just goes, okay, well, shit, what do I do here? Fuck, does not compute, does not compute, does not compute, and she'll start to look for another one. So what am I talking about? Remember, it's 2026. This is not when this part of our brain was designed or developed. It was designed thousands of years ago when there was no grocery stores, no 7-Elevens, no farms, no granaries, no storage bins, no refrigerators, no ovens, no freezers. It's when you had to get up every morning and you had to gather food or hunt food. There was no banks, there was no grocery stores, there was no highways, there was no semi-trucks, there was nothing. There was sharpened sticks, spears, and walking. So here's the deal. This lower part of the brain, the instinctual part of our brain, does not see grocery stores. It does not know what a doctor is. It doesn't know what a bank is. It doesn't know what a dollar is. It doesn't know what money is. It doesn't know what taxes is. It doesn't understand these things. It understands food, survival, reproduction, period. And fortunately or unfortunately, that's where our mating system is in. It's in the lower brain. That's what you have to wrap your head around. You got to stop thinking, oh, that's not logical. Yeah, no shit. Because it comes from the caveman era. You have got to stop thinking, yeah, but Mike, women can make money, or we have grocery stores, we have banks. It doesn't fucking matter. Her number one priority, it's an unconscious hardwiring in her DNA system, is reproducing babies. Her number one priority for the baby is to make sure the baby is provided for and protected. Food and protection. Period. So when she's looking for a mate, you have to be a certain way. And if you're not, she's not going to be attracted. She's not going to want to mate with you. The number one thing she's looking for is, are you in your right brain? Now, if you go back to the caveman era, a good chunk of men were because you had to survive. When you hunt, you have to use your survival instincts. Oh, wait, that's a right brain function. See, hear, feel, smell, and taste. Your 5 senses. The logical brain would not survive in a million years in the wild jungle. In fact, there's been tests and studies done. If you drop the average Westerner into like a jungle in South America, they said they would survive something like, I think it was 4 hours or 7 hours. It was ridiculously quick that they would die. Because they would be using their logical brain. Your logical brain will never keep you alive in the wild. Remember, that mating system is in the wild brain, the reptilian brain, the survival brain. So you have to open up to the right brain, because this is your awareness brain. This is the brain that you're going to survive. You're going to be able to find food better, and you're going to be able to notice predators a lot farther away. The left brain won't even notice them. In my course, Crack the Female Code, that's one of the core pillars of the course. There's 3 of them. Internal awareness, grounding. This tunes you into your system. This is why women are saying, I'm looking for a man who's tuned in, which means into his 5 senses, which is see, hear, feel, smell, and taste, which is processed through the right brain. This is why you could be a multimillionaire and she doesn't feel like you're going to survive. She doesn't think her children are going to make it with you. And you're like, dude, I make $1 million a month. It doesn't matter. Most men in the modern world are so stuck in their logical brain. Her mating system says, abort, 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 abort. But Mike, that's not logical. I know. I've explained that very clearly in this video already. It's not logical. It's lower reptilian and right brain. Mother Nature or God knew what they were doing when they put her mating system. A nerve curves off to the right brain's communication center. She's a right brain and low reptilian brain creature. You're a left brain and lower reptilian brain creature. When you learn how to open up to the right brain, that's when you're going to survive. At least out in the wild. Now you're like, but Mike, I make $1 million. It doesn't matter. She doesn't see that. We could put $1 million of cash in her hands and she'll be happy, but the reptilian brain will look at you and be like, yeah, you're not a good mate. I must take this money and leave. Now I'm going to lead up to the good mate part. What does that mean? So this is also the reason why women will marry criminals who have been in jail for 3 years or 2 years or 5 years and who get out who haven't had a job in 2 years. And you're like, well, why would she marry a guy like that or be in love with a guy like that? Because men that fight wars, men that are in prison and other things, they tune into their five senses. At least the ones that survive are at the top of the heap. Right brain men in the modern world become the CEOs. They move up the management ladder. They become the captains, the generals, the leaders of the group. Lower brain, left brain, logical men, they're the ones that do what they're told and they follow. They do the details. The right brain is the vague and abstract brain. So when she finds a man that's in her vague and abstract right brain, her mating system gets triggered. So if you're in your right brain, you could be totally broke, not even have a job, and she's going to work her ass off to support you. She's going to be in love with you. They can't help it. On the other hand, you can make $1 million a month, be the most logical dude on the planet, and she's going to be like, yeah, I have no interest in this guy. There's just something about him. It's like they don't feel like you can provide. And you're like, but Mike, that's not logical. It's like, I know. You're going to have to wrap your head around this somehow. The way most men wrap head around after they take my course and they start using these right brain techniques, they're like, Jesus Christ, women just melt in your hand like freaking chocolate. I'm telling you, like butter, like chocolate, like M&Ms that you've held on to for too long. They start to melt. It's the weirdest thing in the world. Your whole system is thinking, well, yeah, it's got to be about money. You got to pay for things, have an expensive car. Like, no, I'm telling you, you really don't. Okay, so here is one of the patterns. Remember, cavemen. He wakes up in the morning. They're out under a tree, maybe even a cave, or maybe just out on the tundra somewhere, right? He wakes up, he's hungry, he's got to take a piss, so he takes a piss, he looks around, and he sees a fucking animal, a deer or a rabbit or something, and boom, he's fucking gone. He starts chasing after that fucking thing. He doesn't go, honey, do I have permission to go get some food? Can I go to McDonald's? And a lot of men fucking do that. Now, I see a lot of men online saying, oh, who's got time for those games? Because women say, like, I need a challenge. What does she mean? You got to understand, if she didn't have a caveman, she couldn't survive, especially if she got pregnant and had a child. She needs him to stick around until about the 4th or 5th year. He gets up, he's hungry, he sees something, boom, he's gone. Guess what she would have to do? So if he runs 2 or 3 miles away, he just starts eating it. He doesn't fucking say, oh, we're going to take it back to her. He doesn't do that. He just gets up, runs, grabs the food, and fucking eats it. So you know what she learned to do? Run. She might be a mile behind him, but she keeps following. She keeps running. She keeps looking. He's eating it. Boom. There's extra food. He gives her the extra food. The other thing is, I have to keep him around because there's other fucking hot cave women, cave girls with nice titties. So she knows I've got to massage him, I've got to give him great sex, I've got to kiss him, I've got to make him feel good, I've got to work hard to make him happy so he wants to be with me. So guess what? What does the modern male do? We try to make her happy. We work hard to make her happy. Her system goes, does not compute, does not compute, does not compute. And they start looking for another man. So here's what you got to do. You've got to have something in your life that you fucking love. It's a career, a hobby, a sport, something that is number one and takes precedence over fucking everything. You love it so much that if she tries to get you to quit it, you'll be like, get the fuck out of my life. Or you'll just laugh at her like, what are you talking about? You know how long I had to work to get this career and at this level? I had a buddy that I used to go to school with when I lived in Wisconsin in elementary and middle school. He was a little bit older. His dream was to be a jet pilot. Not any jet pilot, but an executive jet pilot, right? And as a kid, I'm thinking, how did he even know what the fuck that was? I never even heard of that. Well, he was into planes and shit. So here's the deal. We moved to California, hadn't heard from him for like 20 years. Turns out, not only did he become an executive pilot, he got his captain's bars. This guy was at the top of his fucking league. He married a girl, Chrissy, in my grade. We were about 3 or 4 grades below him. And he married. I was like, wow, Chrissy was pretty cute. She was pretty hot, actually. And I was like, good for you, man. And so about 6 months later, he's like, you're not going to believe this. Chrissy's left. And I tried to tell him about, being married and what you got to do, this, and that. I'm like, and here's the thing. I told him, I tried to teach the course to him. And I told him, I go, she's gonna divorce you in less than 2 years. And that's when he called. It was just before the 2 year mark. He goes, how did you know? I'm like, well, because you're a man. So I asked him some questions, and it really came down to one thing. She asked him to quit his job, and he fucking did. His fucking favorite fucking job. Not just favorite job, his dream job. And I said, are you fucking kidding? I was like, oh, dude, you killed it. He goes, what are you talking about? I was like, now she thinks that she's in charge, and like she loses interest. Now she's freaking out. She's looking for another caveman to take care of her and a kid. So I said, what was it like when you came home before? He's like, oh, I'd walk in the door, the kids would run up, we'd play wrestle in the living room. I go, then what would happen? Exactly, tell me exactly what happened. Well, Chrissy would walk in and she'd start bitching and moaning. I said, about what? Oh, about my job. I go, what about your job? He's like, well, I would have to drive about 6 hours away to the airport, and then I'd be gone for about 2 or 3 days because I have to fly executives to Florida or to California, New York or Texas, wherever, and then I'd have to stay overnight, maybe sometimes 2 nights per trip, and I'd be gone for about 2 to 3 days each trip. And she was complaining, you need to spend more time with the kids, and you need to quit your job. You got to get a job closer to home. I go, so what would you do then? He goes, honestly, dude, he goes, I would laugh at her. I was like, really? He goes, I would laugh. I go, why? He goes, because that was preposterous. I was going to quit my dream job. I was like, so then what'd you do? He goes, honestly, he goes, I'd put her in a headlock, give her a noogie, which means rub his knuckles into the top of her head. Then I'd walk into the kitchen and say, what's for dinner, honey? And what happened is, because he passed the test, I ain't quitting my fucking job. You're like, that's laughable. That's good. He passed. So now I go, let me guess, she would run into the kitchen, wrap her arms around you, say, what do you want? He goes, yeah, she would. She'd be really happy because he passed the test. So I said, so what's it like now? He goes, oh my God, she bitches and fucking moans, complains, and she's miserable. I go, what was it like back then before, when you used to laugh at her? He goes, that was fucking easy. I go, what do you mean? Because I don't know. I go, well, how long did it last? He goes, about 3 minutes or 4 minutes. She'd moan and complain. I go, really? I go, did she complain every day about it? She goes, no, she just do it that first day when I came home. And that was it. I'm like, so what was it like now? He goes, dude, she bitches every day about every little thing, about the garbage, about this, about that. He goes, it's literally nonstop. I'm like, yeah, she's trying to push you out. She's miserable with you. So I didn't mention this part. He actually quit his job and he got a jumbo jet job flying. I think it was I think it's FedEx or UPS or one of those big jumbo planes. He goes, when I used to walk in the airport, all those men would look at me, even the airline pilots, because I was an executive pilot. I had my captain's bar. He goes, dude, I had superiority. I had rank. I go, so you had a lot of pride in your work. He goes, oh yeah, and people respected me. I go, what's it like now? He goes, well, I lost, I think he was making $200,000 or something like that. He goes, now I'm making like $60,000 a year. He goes, I lost a lot of my benefits. I lost my cred. I lost my captain's wings. He goes, I'm starting all over at the bottom. So here's the deal, guys. If you want to quit your job and get another job, do not let it be because of her. You have to make it ultra clear it was because of you. If she thinks for a moment it's because she influenced you, what happens is, if she thinks that you followed her rule or told you what to do, suddenly she's like, oh shit, we don't have a man in the house. Who the fuck's going to lead us? So here's what I said to him. I go, does she like lose her shit over the littlest things? He goes, what do you mean? I go, does she like flip out and yell and scream like she's like literally in a dying situation, like where someone's about to get murdered? He goes, oh yeah, she fucking panics all the time now. She just like flips out if something that she doesn't know how it's going to work. And she's, oh my God, what are we going to do? He's like, dude, it's not a big deal. I go, yeah, because now she feels like she has a child, she has a home, but she doesn't have a man to lead the family, and she's freaking the fuck out. He goes, you think so? I go, so what's it been like since you quit your job? He goes, yeah, she's been freaking out. Another test women will do is they will try to get you to buy different clothes. They'll try to get you to get a different haircut or to look different. Don't fucking do it. There's an unconscious pattern that is designed to raise children. If that part of her brain subconsciously begins to tell you what to do, dress this way, cut your hair like this, walk like this, talk like this, eat like this, if this is basically raising children pattern, If you fall under this pattern and that's suddenly her unconscious mind goes, oh shit, who the fuck is this? It starts to recognize you as a child. Now in the beginning, she'll actually make love to you to reward you for being a good little boy. But then after a while, she's like, whoa, this is the little kid. Whose kid is this? Not mine. And Mother Nature makes her say, get the fuck out. I don't care if you starve to death. And I'm going to tell you, Mother Nature is cruel. Because there's only enough food for her children, and that's it, to survive. If you're not one of her offspring, and she realizes this, she's going to kick you out. And that's exactly what she did to my friend Brett. So let's say you're at the mall and she tries to pick a shirt out for you. Even if you wanted it, do not fucking buy it. The only thing you can do if it's a shirt you really wanted, you grab it first and say, I picked this, I like this, I want this, I'm going to get this for me. Make it super clear that I picked it, it's for me, I want it, I'm getting it because I want. I mean, literally, you have to do it like that. You have to claim it. If she thinks for a moment that she influenced you to wear that shirt and buy it, game over. You fell underneath the child rearing program. My ex-girlfriends convinced me to get my hair cut shorter because I used to kind of have like, Theo has that like short on the sides, long in the back. I forget the name of that haircut, but that's how I had my hair. She convinced me to get like a business cut. She goes, hey, go to this barber. We really like him. I went to this barber and got my hair cut short, and all the girls started laughing. Her and her two friends. I'm like, what's so fucking funny? Even the barber laughed. She's like, oh, nothing. From that point forward, she lost all respect and treated me like shit. It was just went downhill from there. Personally, I wouldn't even go to the mall or a store to buy clothes with a woman. If I needed help, I would hire a woman or ask a female friend to go with me. Do not buy your clothes with your wife or girlfriend. It is gonna fucking ruin your fucking life. Your relationship. She has to see you as the chooser, the decider, the leader. You're the one who chooses. You're the one who makes the decisions. If she doesn't see that, she'll lose respect and she'll start looking for another caveman. And in the meantime, she's going to laugh at you. She's going to humiliate you. She'll have no respect for you. Let me tell you one thing about that. Once a woman loses respect, leave immediately. It will become a living fucking nightmare. I'm telling you, just pack your shit and go. One of the things that men were taught to do was to fight for the relationship. Again, that's a female feminine trait. If a woman is not fighting to keep you from other women, if a woman is not fighting to keep you in the relationship, if a woman is not working hard to please you, to make you happy, game over. Game's over. But why, Mike? Because all the way back in the caveman era, that's what women had to do to survive. Here's the thing. If you're doing these things, it's an unconscious thing. She's not conscious of it. She views you as another woman. Not only another woman, but you're like a competitive woman. She's like, whoa, what is she doing in my house? Well, I gotta get her out of here. Women are hardwired. It's in their DNA, literally, to chase the caveman, to keep the caveman, to work to keep him around, to please him, to make him happy so he won't leave her barren with barren's right word, but with a child. She's gonna struggle. She won't survive, and neither will the child. This is so hardwired into her that if you're doing the pleasing and chasing and trying to bring her back to you, her system gets all does not compute. It just doesn't function. And she's like, yeah, this is not a good mate. It turns off the desire to, I gotta have him. So she starts looking around for a caveman where she gets that solid feeling inside. This guy's going to fucking lead the family. This guy's going to take care of us. Please understand, this is all hormonal and unconscious. It's hardwired into her. Most women don't even know what they're doing. They don't, in other words, they don't realize they're going down this path. Of course, there's always that one guy, but Mike, that's not logical. I know it's not logical. It's the most illogical fucking thing on the planet. It's a pattern. When you can start seeing the patterns, suddenly it makes sense and it becomes logical. So here's the pattern. She's trying to hold on to you like a wild horse taken off. As long as she's fighting to hold on to you, everything's going to be good. She's going to work to keep you. She's going to cook, clean, work to keep the kids happy, to keep you happy. And she's going to be thrilled inside. That natural pattern inside is working. It's functioning properly, which keeps her enthused, enthusiastic, and happy and content. But the minute she captures you, game over. It's done. It's literally like when a cat catches a mouse, and the minute the mouse dies, cat walks away. It's bored. It's not even bored. It just the system gets turned off. Now she's like, okay, well shit. It's like you're not there anymore, and she has to look to find another one. It's like, literally, when I was a little kid, I remember at my friend's house, this cat was playing with this mouse and knocking around and biting into it and scratching it. The minute, literally, the split second the mouse died, the cat patted it once, twice, it literally walked away. It was immediate. That's what happens with women. It's like, game over. Now she has to find a new game. It's really not a game, though. It seems like it because it sucks. But it's survival. It's literally hardwired into. So if you learn how to keep going and going after your dream, she will work to keep you. If you want life to make sense with women, you want to start understanding women, you want things to be more logical, buy my book, Cracked Female Code, then take the course, Cracked Female Code with me. Go to crackedfemalecode.com. Remember, click subscribe, click the like button, buy my book, Cracked Female Code, and read it. Take it to the next level. That's it. If you want to go ahead and make a donation, there's a PayPal link right there in the description box, right below the video. Alright guys, I'll see you soon. Bye.